happiest of Mondays to you as I get my fabricated recording studio set up for a good angle. And by recording studio, I mean I have 4 shoe boxes stacked holding my laptop up because that's how we roll over here. Let me put my closet lipstick on in case my mom joins because she gets mad. She wears lipstick to check the mail and has been wearing the same color lipstick since like the 80s and refuses to switch. All right. Happy Monday, everyone. Welcome to my closet. If this is your first time here, this is a safe space and I'm happy to have you. And if it is not your first time, I'm so excited you're back. We're going to talk about some stuff tonight, some stuff that's stressing me out in particular. So let me take a deep breath for this. Hold on. Let me take a sip of wine because I've been having meltdowns like the last 2 weeks. So in my world of writing and blogging, there are a few of those like big conferences every year that everyone gathers at. And it's like, there are ones that are bigger than others that you have major FOMO when you miss them. So one of them that I missed last year was Mom 2.0. It was in Pasadena and all of my writer friends were there and I was seeing all their pictures and I was like, oh, I really want to go to that. But Sienna was like barely out of the newborn phase and I'm thinking there's no way I can leave her this little. I was still breastfeeding. It was a whole big thing, but I said, I have to commit. I have to go next year. So in typical conference fashion, the early bird tickets went on sale the next day. And I looked at my husband and I'm like, should I do it? Because it was like a year away. And he was like, yes, do it. So here we are. We are coming up to Roni. No, I'm not coming to LA. The conference that I'm going to is in Austin this year, but it was in Pasadena last year. But my husband is dying to go to LA. We keep talking about, that's like he loves it. I've never been. I've only been to all over Northern California and then San Diego, but I've never been to LA. And he made me promise that when we take our big trip, like when the baby is old enough to actually be away from both of us for that long, because she's super high maintenance, that's where we're going. So I will let you know. It's going to happen. Might happen in a decade, but it's going to happen. So anyway, I am headed to a conference in a few weeks by myself. Well, not by myself. All of my like blogger and writer friends that I get to see in real life will be there. But I am, thank you, Roni. That's so sweet. I have not traveled without the baby, except for like, I don't know, maybe I stayed overnight. I haven't been away from her really. And I'm okay being away from her. I'm not one of those mothers who has to be on top of her kids. I like the break, but she is like super clingy and she's very difficult right now. And my biggest struggle is the childcare situation because I don't have full-time help. I have a sitter that I use a couple times a week who is lovely and wonderful, but she works for a couple other families. And my husband works full-time. And my mom lives an hour, 45 minutes away. And it's just a lot to piece together. And so I started getting stressed out, figuring out how we were going to swing this. And it's interesting because I posted on my personal page, which I've been doing before every show, and I love it because I get so much perspective, but I posted for people to tell me about their experiences when they have to travel as moms, whether it's for work or a girls' trip or an overnight wedding, whatever it is, without their families and their husband is on deck. I asked them to tell me their experiences. And it's funny because everybody's head, I think, went to the leaving lists for husbands and all that stuff. I don't have to do that. My husband is really, really good. He's totally hands-on. I don't have to like tell him what to feed her. Like he's good like that. The issue with us is that he works out of the house long hours and I have to basically cobble together babysitting from multiple sources. And I was getting so overwhelmed and so stressed out that I had a full-on meltdown, like crying, snotty, ugly meltdown yesterday, telling him how stressed out I am because I feel like my poor baby is going to be passed from like hand to hand over, I'm going away for 5 days. I'm back on the 5th day. So it's 4 days, but I'm gone for a long time. And I'm not worried about like when he comes home from work, that's the best part because they're good together. It's fine. My biggest concern is just getting the schedule in place that someone is always here to cover until he gets home. And I feel a tremendous amount of guilt that I have to like call in my family and the sitter to help me. I am very bad at asking for help and putting people out. It stresses my mom out. Like we fight about it, not in a real way. I think we just both are trying to plan and control. And my mom always has to be in charge. Like she just needs to have the reins, and she couldn't with this. And so we were going like this a little bit, and we worked out the logistics, but it's stressful as a mom. And what really pissed me off is that I got in my head, and it had nothing to do with my husband because he's the opposite of a man who doesn't help. He's all in. But I started thinking, when a man has to travel, and I'm not trying to go on like a feminist soapbox, but just hear me out. When a man has to travel for work, if he has a wife who does not work out of the house and like me either works from home or is a stay-at-home mom, there's not even a conversation. He basically just has to say, honey, I'm going out of town for work and I'll be gone for 4 days. And she's like, okay. I mean, it might suck. It's hard to not have that extra set of hands. But as a woman, when you're the one who's holding the shit together in terms of the household, because I do everything here, everything from the laundry to the meals to the grocery shopping to keeping the house in some kind of order to picking up dry cleaning, like all the little things, I do all of that in addition to working. So hi, Sherry. I'm so excited you're here. I feel like you haven't been here forever. So it got me really ragey because I was thinking about how it's so unfair how when a man travels for work, he just has to announce he's traveling and his wife basically just picks up the pieces graciously because they're your partner and it's the way that it's supposed to be. But you don't have to go through this whole rigmarole of finding childcare and lining up sitters and doing all this stuff. I have to basically play like make a schedule, and it was overwhelming for that amount of time. If it was a couple days, I don't think I would have been as stressed out, but I lost my shit last night. And I think part of the reason why I put stuff on my page to get perspective is because it's also like a therapy session, so I know I'm not alone. But I want to read you some of the responses because the overwhelming majority of people, when I asked how they prepare when they're going out of town, everyone's head went to lists. And I'm a list maker too. Hey, Lisa, I'm a list maker too. So, and I have a lot of friends who travel. So I want to just read you a few of these things because I think a lot of you guys will relate to them. And it's just so interesting how I think as women and as moms, we put so much on our shoulders and we take on so much. And I'm admitting that I could probably have a lot more help in different areas, but I'm so bad at asking for help. Sherry, don't worry. I've watched them all 7 times trying to get them. Oh, you're so cute. Thank you. Sherry is helping me tirelessly get my YouTube channel together. So all of these videos can live somewhere in harmony and you won't have to dig through Facebook to get to them. Okay, so here are a few responses. I asked, just if in case you did not see this, I said, I need to talk about when moms travel for work, for girls trips, etc. How do you handle? Because I have a big work trip this month and I have already had like 27 meltdowns. I'm not exaggerating. Just trying to deal with the logistics / childcare while my husband's at work. Tell me your experiences, mishaps, meltdowns, the feeling of euphoria of being in a hotel room all by yourself, all of it. Go. So let me just take a pause for a second before I dig into some of these responses. Can we all just agree as women and as mothers that there is nothing better than being in a hotel room by yourself, like having a bed to yourself without little feet and hands grabbing on you and hot little breath in your ear and not having to wake up and get someone milk or a pacifier or anything like that? We all agree that that is like basically better than almost any sexual fantasy that you could possibly conjure up, right? I just want to make sure we're all on the same page with that. And now I'll go into the responses. Okay. So my friend Natalie said, I'm a single mom without family here or her dad's help, so it's always pretty stressful and expensive for me because I need a sitter for however many days I'm gone. But the feeling of being alone in a hotel room, ordering room service, and staring at the wall in silence is golden. I feel that with every fiber in my body. And I too was a single mom before I met Jason after I got divorced. And that is very stressful because ideally you should be able to rely on your partner. And in most cases you can, but sometimes logistically it doesn't work for the other person either. And when both people work out of the house, you can't really, what do? Flip a coin and decide whose job is more important? Like, I don't want, because I am a woman or someone makes less money than the other, then they automatically fall at the bottom of the totem pole. It's very, very hard. It's very hard unless you have full-time help, like someone living in your home, and you don't have to worry because you know that if you're gone, it's taken care of. And aside from that, I don't know how you do it. Like, I don't know how you, I remember traveling when I had just my older one a lifetime ago, when I was married to another man living in another state. I had to travel a lot for work. And there were times that I even had to do like California in and out on the same day from the Northeast because clients were too cheap to pay for us to stay overnight. Hi, Jessica. And so when I had to travel with her and there was no choice and we both worked, we just figured it out. And you always figure it out. But I was always so stressed trying to conjure up the schedule of who was going to be with her when, while both of us were at work. And that is what I'm feeling now. And I know that once I'm there and I'm with all of these incredible women that I get to hang out online with every day. That sounded really creepy. We're actually friends. A lot of us have not met in real life, but we're all living the same life, doing the same thing, and writing and blogging and Instagramming and memeing and all that stuff. And so I know that when I'm with them and I land and I get settled in the hotel, I will be really excited. But I am stressed out over just getting my shit together to have her covered while my husband is at work. My older one can go to her dad, so that helps, but I feel so much guilt, and I don't know if I'm alone in that. I don't know if you guys feel that way. And I'm realistic. I know that guilt will go away a little bit when I'm out and I get to have like a real meal without a child spitting chewed food into my plate. But I do miss my kids when I'm away, and then I feel bad because I hear how tired my husband is and how everyone is just shuffling around to make this possible for me, and I'm appreciative, but it makes me feel like sometimes it's not even worth asking for the help because I hate putting people out. It makes me uncomfortable to rely on people like that. Jessica, logistics are ridiculous with kids when someone has a crazy schedule. Yes. So as an example, my friend Michelle Dempsey, my girl, we had, I don't even remember when it was, last year, I don't know. We were hosted by the Diplomat Hotel and Resort in Hollywood to prove our point that moms need to get away from their kids. And you don't have to jump on a plane and go far. You can have a staycation at a nice local resort. And so they were kind enough to host us for us to kind of cover that experience and write about it and post about it and do all that stuff and show the importance of keeping your sanity while lounging in a cabana, sipping cocktails and not having to change diapers. And it was glorious. But leading up to that trip, and that was only, we stayed one night or 2 nights? I don't even remember. But let's just say 2 nights. The amount of logistics that it took to make sure, because one of those days was on a weekday, to make sure that I had childcare for my toddler was so anxiety inducing. And that was one day. And so now I'm looking at 5 days away in another state, and I'm trying to stay calm about it, but I'm really losing it a little bit because that Michelle even said that. She said, think back to our staycation euphoria of watching movies in bed in our robes and not giving a fuck about anything. And also how hard it was to arrange for the girls to be cared for. And it was, and it falls on us. And then I think how lucky I am that I do have a husband who is incredibly supportive, who is behind me every step of the way, pushing me to do things like this, even though it's going to inconvenience him and so many other people. And I think about women who are married to men who don't give a shit, don't give a shit about their wives' careers, or forget about work. If their wives need a break to go for the day with their girlfriends and have brunch, and the husbands who are not having it, and I want to throat punch them, because I'm sure everyone on here, at least someone whose husband is like a douche canoe and gets bent out of shape when their wife wants to do something. And nothing makes me crazier when I see men taking all these liberties with their wives and going out with the guys and doing all these things. And the minute their wife wants to do something, it's like a double standard. I kind of went off on a tangent a little bit, but this is my show, so I'm allowed to do that. But it makes me insane because I feel like I know so many women throughout my life who literally ask their spouses for permission to do stuff. And I do think that there has to be a level of mutual respect. So like Jason or I would never just book plans without telling the other person, but we're certainly not asking permission. It's a courtesy. We're saying, hey, he's like, I want to play golf on Saturday. Do we have anything going on? It's never, babe, is it okay? Like it's not really permission. It's just clearing it with the other person. And I think that's totally normal. But I get sad for people who have to like ask their spouses for permission to do things, especially if it's for their career. No, you know what? Not especially if it's their career. We all need a fucking break sometimes. We all need to get away from our children, away from our husbands, and not because we don't love our husbands. I am madly, fiercely in love with my husband. Sometimes I just need to be out of my house. I just need to be alone and take a breather. And my mom, who said to me today, she was like, I know you're stressed out. It will all work out and it will all come together. And you need this, not just for like the professional part of it and the networking and being with the people who are in my world, but for that mental break of being away from the responsibilities of taking care of a family. And also, I am blessed with a super clingy toddler who wants to climb back into my vagina and screams now every time I leave, except for at school. She's happy at school. Loses her mind every time I leave, and it is harrowing. I don't know if any of you guys have kids like that who are so attached to you, they have like those convulsion meltdowns when you leave, but I am in the thick of that right now, and it makes my skin crawl, and it gives me a visceral reaction because I feel like shit every time I leave my house when I leave her like that. Samantha, punch those husbands. Yep, right in the throat or in the balls. Haley, douche canoe, LOL. You can use it anytime you want. It's not even my term. I don't know where I heard it, but it's a great one. Jessica, I would like to sit in a cabana without kids, but I totally feel guilty. Anytime someone sees me without my kids, I'm treated like I'm on a vacation. It's just a solo trip to Publix. Settle down, folks. But don't you feel like that solo trip to Publix is kind of like a vacation? Like today, I had the sitter for the baby. My older one was at school. I picked her up to go to the orthodontist, dropped her off to go to her dad's, and then I went to Target by myself for 15 minutes by myself. And I know I always joke about it, and it's probably one of those jokes that it's like enough, it's like a broken record. But if you are a mother and you get to go anywhere by yourself, to the gas station by yourself, like it is a liberating feeling. Jessica, both of my kids want to crawl back inside me as well. I know it's my kids are obsessed with me, and I love it because I'm obsessed with them. But I need like that. I need to like not be hung on and touched and grabbed for like 5 minutes sometimes out of every day. It makes me crazy. Jessica, Target is life. If you can go to Target by yourself, I firmly believe that it's almost the same for your sanity as like a weekend trip to somewhere. Like if I'm in South Florida, so like local, a weekend trip to Naples, like send me to Target for a couple of hours just to roam around, and maybe I won't even buy anything, but let's be real, I probably will. And I don't know. I feel like it's the same. So let me tell you more. Hold on. Okay. Let's read more responses. So lists. This is from Monique. Lists, mostly in my head, some down on paper, virtually laying out clothes and packing lunches in my head. All the while, hubby says, I got it. Maybe I shouldn't plan so much. It always seems fine when I get home. And yes, hotel room bliss for me, pajamas and early room service. So I do think that if you have one of those husbands like mine who has it together, they're always going to do things differently. Like he's going to dress her probably in things that I would never put her in. And I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. Like that stuff does not bother me at all. Let him do it his way as long as he's doing it and he's willing to do it. I'm totally fine with it. He'll feed her. She's old enough now where she can vocalize what she wants. So I'm past the point. I remember I went somewhere when she was much younger and doing baby food, and I had to like portion everything out and lay everything out because it's a lot. And when you're the one doing it every day, you can't really fault your spouse for not knowing the exact logistics because you're doing it. So if you don't write it down for them or like set them up for success, you're going to set them up for failure. I don't know why people are saying, did I miss it? There's no auction. I don't know why you guys think there's an auction. I'm sorry to disappoint you. No auction tonight. This is live from my closet. Sorry. But what auction? Am I missing an auction? Is there an auction I need to know about, Mike and Mandy? Mandy, what auction do you think you're tuning in for? Because I know nothing about an auction. So I'd like to know. No, Mike, I think you're in the wrong place. Wardrobe auction, then the couch. There's no auction going on. We're just talking about mom life. So if that's your thing, you're welcome to stay. And if it's not, then I won't even be offended if you go. Okay, Samantha, I travel for work and girls trips. I food prep and make extremely detailed lists. I still get 100 calls with questions. I think it's because I missed more than anything. I also make sure the diaper bag is ready for the world to end and Cooper's outfits are picked out for a few days. I leave them with tons of kisses and say, I'll see you boys in a few days. Yep. And that's the way to do it. So does he get annoyed? Or is he like totally like those of you who leave notes and lists and stuff for your husbands, do they expect it and want it, or do they feel like you're micromanaging them? Because I'm curious about that, because I don't do that. I don't leave lists and stuff. Jason has it together. All right, my friend Jamie, I had a nanny and a husband on duty while away for my first trip, so I didn't scuffle with my husband when panicked and manic. She'd be alive, let alone happy when I left. Truth be told, I also had a major panic attack on the plane. It was a one-day trip, worrying if we crashed, I'd miss her growing up. Okay, and I think about all those things too. You guys are killing me, Mandy and Mike. I don't know if you're fucking with me or if you really think there's a couch auction, but there's no couch auction. You're in the wrong place. I'm in my closet. There's no couch auction going on here. You are either messing with me, and if you are, happy April Fools. But otherwise, I'm sorry to disappoint you. Okay. Let me see what else I have here. What are the good things? Wait, there was a really funny one from my friend Lauren. Okay. Lauren, who is styled as a mother. If you're not following her, follow her, because she puts up really cute stuff. And she's not exaggerating when she says this. Okay. My family says I act like I'm going into hospice when I go away. I traveled for work a few weeks ago, pre-packed bags, sports, dance, acting, specific instructions, emailed reminders. Husband had to alter schedule a little. My parents helped get 3 kids to 20 different places at the same time, said no to any extra things, 8 meals out, gave kids certain jobs. Luckily, no kids got sick and all did pretty well. We did it. It's craziness. I can't. You guys, I'm so distracted. I know that you're messing with me, but you're really screwing up my flow, Mandy and Mike Honcho and Mandy Clemens. If you want a couch, I suggest Rooms to Go. All right, so that brings us to, that's basically all I have to say about the travel. Thank you guys for validating me and for telling me that I'm not alone and feeling guilty or crazy that I'm going away. And I know that I'll enjoy it, but it's messing with me and making me insane. Mia, you're going. I'm going to see you, right? So that's super exciting. Are you stressing out like I am, like about travel and leaving your kids and just getting organized? Because I'm losing my mind. Losing my mind. All right. That brings us to, and feel free to like ruin my flow, like Mike and Mandy over here playing their own little April Fool's joke about a couch that doesn't exist and not being auctioned off. But feel free to pop in if you are joining late and give me more info about the travel stuff. But I want to move on to my vent sesh, which is all about April Fools and how much I hate it. I might be in the minority, but I hate April Fools. Like, hate it so much that I can't even stand the pranks. I don't like it. I'm not into it. I feel like it's mean. And I feel like I have a really good sense of humor and I like to laugh and I like to poke fun, but there's something about April Fools and how crazy people get on social media and they think they're really funny and posting, something completely original and they're like, I gotcha. It makes me insane. I cannot take it. Jessica, there should be free cruises for moms that need a break. Yes, there should be. It should be part of like our, if you have insurance, there should be like a mental health benefit for moms to take a staycation once every like 6 months or once a year, just for like a day, go away. Mia, I'm trying not to, it will work out. I know that it will. Jessica, I don't like April Fools either. Thank God. I really can't stand it. And you know what? And this is, I hate to be a Debbie Downer, but I'm going to say this because a lot of people have been posting about it and I have very strong opinions. I think one of the most common things that people post about is they joke about being pregnant. And I know that some people are doing it all in good fun. And hi, Leslie. And I'm a believer that there's a lot of things that we all take too seriously and that we need to lighten up a little bit. But I get really sad and uncomfortable when people post about faking being pregnant, because the reality is, if you have struggled with fertility, which I have, if you have suffered a miscarriage, which I have, if you have prayed and prayed and prayed for another baby after a miscarriage and just didn't know if it would happen, and whatever your struggles are, IVF, whatever it is, it's, to me, like there are certain lines that you can cross with sensitivity things. And I like an inappropriate joke. I like jokes that push the boundaries, but I feel like all these people who post about fake pregnancies are you need to think about it for a second. So post about, your April Fool's stuff, but don't try not to do that. It's a little bit mean and insensitive. It is. I'm just going to go out there and say that. I don't share my opinions about those things very often because I don't want to sound judgy all the time, but just consider it. Sherry, Cardi B is doing a cruise in June. That is going to be a cruise. Jessica, someone asked if they could use my ultrasound pic as an April Fool's joke in the past. I said, no, it's not funny. It's not. It's totally not. Leslie, yes, it's very insensitive. You never know who's struggling. All right, you guys, for real, like who went and told everyone that I was giving away a couch on April Fool's, on the holiday that I hate most, with all these people ruining my show? All right, so that's it. We talked about travel, we talked about April Fool's, and I'm gonna give you a couple for the what I'm loving. I have a couple things. If you followed my Insta stories the other day and you saw me cooking for my child, well, cooking when my child was sitting next to me and she was losing her mind because the iPad was about to die. If you are a parent and you do not have an external charger, you're doing it wrong. You need it, because sometimes you can't plug that screen time into Jessica, there's no couch. Thank you. Leslie shared this on Marketplace. You guys are crazy. Who's Leslie? Leslie, the only Leslie I know is Leslie who's here. Leslie, did you share, are you pranking me on April Fool's about telling people there's a couch for auction? You guys are gonna be very disappointed. I don't have a couch to give. I'm sorry. You should probably go to a furniture store, or ask Leslie. Maybe Leslie has a couch. Okay, awesome, Leslie. Go tell Leslie that you're in the wrong place. Okay, weird things are happening, and that's why I'm gonna get off soon, because I can't stand April Fool's stuff. So you need one of these because you can charge it. I use it for travel, for work stuff, but like if your kid is losing their mind, and let's say your older one plays sports and you're at like a godforsaken baseball field, and I'm saying that because my best friend's in the thick of it right now with her son, and your little one has the iPad because they have no interest in watching their sibling play baseball, what are you going to do when that thing dies and then your phone dies? Get one. Awesome. Amazon. There's a million of them. And then my other favorite thing, if you guys do not follow the Leslie, they're throwing you under the bus. They're totally throwing you under the bus. Leslie. Jessica, Rooms to Go is giving free couches today. Run, people, run. That's true. Derek, I'll take your $200, but I don't have a couch for you. I know, they're really annoying. I'm just scrolling to see if there's oh, it's at Mabel, Leslie Samro shared this in video and is acting like she doesn't know that it's happening. Okay. So if you guys do not follow the Pump and Dump show, these two ladies are hilarious. They are, they travel all over. I saw their show live here, and they are hilarious, relatable, inappropriate, like everything that you want from moms sitting on stage talking about their kids. They sing, they do jokes, it's awesome. So, oh, Sam, you will love this. There's all these assholes right now on here who somebody sent, and they are messing with me, trying to pretend that they're here for a couch auction on April Fools. So there's like a million of them if you have anything to say to them. And you guys can stop calling me sir. That's not funny either. It's very, very clear that I'm not a sir. Okay. Go follow the Pump and Dump Show. I linked to them here. They're hilarious. They're on Instagram too, and their posts are great, and they're really great. So they have these shirts, and if you're a mom, you might want one. They sent me one, and I love it. It's the softest and most comfortable. I posted it the other day, and it just says breeder. If you're a breeder, you should get one. And if you're a mother, you're a breeder. I don't care if you didn't push those babies out yourself, you're a breeder. If you adopted them, you're a breeder. If you used a surrogate, you're a breeder. You are a breeder. Okay, so you should get one of these shirts. Soft, comfortable, you will love it. And they have ones for the men. They call the men who partner with the breeders motherfuckers, and those are hilarious too if you're into that kind of thing. So that is it. Sam, happy to watch you finally. I know I miss you. Is Chad watching too? Or is he annoyed that you're watching? Thank you guys so much for joining me tonight. And I hope that you have a lovely rest of your week. We have a couple more weeks before I have to do my trip, and so you might have to talk me off the ledge a couple more times before I lose it completely. And thank you guys for another wonderful evening. Aside from all of the annoying trolls, Jessica, good shirt to wear to Target, right? I know, totally. All right, everyone have a great night. I'm getting off because I can't stand these people. They're really bothering me and ruining my safe space. Have a great week. I will speak to you all next week. Word to your mother.